There is nothing more exciting than when a festival comes to town, especially one of the culinary kind. Now today you're going to be joining me at Samudra in the Trident Hotel for a festival of grills.
Bathed in natural sunlight, with a lovely view of serene green, is Samudra, also the Sanskrit word for ocean. In the front of the restaurant is a beautiful built-in aquarium. However, judging by the expression of some of the inhabitants of the aquarium, they seem to understand only too well that they will ultimately end up on my lunch plate. The restaurant was celebrating today with an ode to the art of grilling, with a variety of grills from across coastal India.
Well, we started the grills and the tandoor section out here primarily because with the monsoon in Chennai and even the cold winter out here, it's generally a very popular concept with alcohol and a lot of guests preferring to have some grills with some wine or any alcoholic beverage. So we decided to amalgamate again a good collection of kebabs, like vegetarian and some exclusive ingredients for the kebabs, where we use a range of different marinades, ingredients, a lot of herbs being used out there.
Now today I would be sampling a little selection of the grills from the extensive menu.
Okay, well we're starting a little bit light with one of the vegetarian kebabs. Now this over here is the Shabnam Kasturi. It's actually a mushroom-based kebab. It's been stuffed with cheese and capsicum and some onions as well. Now this is a slight variation on the traditional recipe. Chef has actually added his own little touches. He's cooked it in the tandoor, he's added onions, which normally doesn't go with this type of kebab. And as you see over here on the side, we have a host of delectable looking little pickles and some sumptuous looking chutneys as well. So really, there's only one thing left to do. That's taste the kebab. Ladies and gentlemen, well, we move on now to the Murg Dhaniawala kebab. Now, this is a kebab that's been marinated in a very traditional, sort of normal marinade. It's just coriander and ginger garlic paste, a little bit of dried fenugreek, some hung curd, and of course some mint as well. Now I'm adding a touch of lime to the kebab for just a little bit of extra zest. And then we're gonna dig in. Little nibble. Spicy kebab. That is delicious.
Kebabs primarily, why it became very popular over the years, ranging from right from the 12th century in India, starting from Lucknow, even till this day. Is the most important aspect of a kebab to be. It has to be fresh. Whatever ingredient you use, it has to be fresh. Whether it be fish, it be lamb, or if you're using something like cottage cheese or any vegetable, or even if you're using cauliflower, which is marinated with, which we have sarson ka gobi, which is cauliflower marinated with mustard and a little bit of green chili and cumin in it. The primary importance is the freshness of marinade should be emphasized a lot, right from whether it be mustard seed, it be hung yogurt, ginger garlic paste. These are the basic ingredient which is used out there. And a certain aspect of kebab is very, very critical. For example, if you're using a red meat, kebabs are generally very, very soft. It's always an art how to cook a red meat in a high fire and still keep it very tender. So you use a lot of tenderizer agent out there, which keeps the kebab very moist, at the same time cooks in a very fast. Because if you realize the temperature of a tandoor is very high, somewhere between 250 to 300 degrees Celsius, to get the flavor, the smoky flavor of the charcoal, and to keep the marinade essence intact in that is very critical out there. So that remains the challenge, and that is one of the reasons of the popularity of kebabs.
Okay, well, we have kebab number 3. Now this one is the zimikand ki shami. Now normally when you hear shami kebab, you think meat, you think lamb, but this is actually a vegetarian's alternative. It's been made with yam, not lamb, meant to sort of imitate the same sort of texture of minced lamb. Let's see if it does that justice. Not quite lamb. But still very interesting. The kebab's actually been stuffed with fresh, sweet bursts of pomegranate. There's some raisins, some nuts, whole pieces of ginger for a nice little zest. Interesting. And again, we have that sort of contrast of textures I was talking about earlier. We have a very soft kebab, and on the side, very crunchy papadum. Well, we move on now to the grand finale. Now, this is the secondary lamb, the lamb ran. It's been slow roasted, a lot of flavor, and really sort of permeating the meat is this sort of bite, a little bit of a spicy sort of aftertaste.
Ran, over the years, like it's a kebab which is originated from Awadh cuisine, and it was one of the most popular kebabs in the Nawabs around the 14th century of that. Ran, you take the whole leg of lamb, you marinate it overnight, which is the secret for it. You generally soak it in malt vinegar and you put a little bit of lemon juice, and it tenderizes the meat out there. And the next day you make a marinade of hung yogurt, you use some black cardamom powder, cloves, you use dried fenugreek leaves, or you could call it kasuri methi with garam masala. You add a lot of spices along to that, but at the same time you make sure that the meat remains very moist out there. And then you cook it in the oven, or as you say, the tandoor oven, and it's got a special seek to cook the ran. You make a special seek for ran and you cook it in the tandoor because it's got a bone, and along with the whole chunk of meat which is around the bone out there.
Now, to offset our sort of heavy, slightly spicy lamb dish, I have been recommended a rosé wine. Now, this is a very light, slightly sweetish wine. Normally, I'm not a fan of rosés because I find them too overwhelmingly sweet, but this one has a nice, fresh, sort of tart aftertaste to it. And interestingly, it actually somehow complements the lamb very, very well. You'd normally assume that you'd want a heavier bodied sort of wine with lamb. But this is fresh and offers a nice little bit of a sweetness, so I'm quite happy with the pairing.
Essentially, this is there are two ways of making a rosé. One is mixing a red and a white wine, and or else choosing a red grape and making a rosé out of it. The Shiraz rosé, which we've chosen here, is the second category, where it's made out of the red Shiraz grapes. The beauty of it is that this particular wine is a bit of tartness is there in the wine, which kind of goes well with a lamb preparation. At the same time, the Indian dishes inherent spices get accentuated and complemented well with this kind of a rosé, where it's not too sweet, not too tart, but just the right quality to complement well.
Well, it has been a lovely, not to mention delicious journey through the coastal cuisine of India. Now, though Samudra is a little bit far away from the city center, I would recommend you make the journey out for a lovely meal. And until the next episode of Feeding Frenzy, just remember, forget the calories, happy eating.